I got it wet, but I didn't, you know, soak it super long. Just basically got it wet enough that I can push the gun in. And I gotta say, I couldn't ask for much better. It is actually a pretty darn nice fit. Yep, I dig it. I always get a little concerned about my clip. It took me the longest time to figure out just how to get that to fit just right. So for the longest time I was getting them too close to the trigger guard or too close to the top, and they just don't fit right then. This one fits pretty darn good. So let's do a little forming. We're just inside a little bit there. We're down in the trigger guard, just down to right where we need to be. It's perfect. I could not ask for it to be much better. Nope, I couldn't. So one of my favorite tools is just my leather slicker, my slicker tool. Now you're going to get some burnishing on this, and there isn't a whole lot you can do about it. Now my torque plate, I kind of pushed it back just a little bit. It is still going to pull back when you tighten your belt. You're going to have it that way. It's just the way it is. You don't need a ton of retention here, but I want it to form a little bit to the trigger guard here. Not a ton. Let me move this a little. There. So I'm just I don't need a lot of, because like I said, your belt is going to do most of the holding here. And the burnishing, I don't mind. It'll burnish. It's going to burnish just because it's what happens to leather when you have it wet and you start rubbing on it. Some people don't like when it happens. I don't really care. It's going to get finished. I finish it with acrylic Resin, so it's going to get a shine to it anyway. Now, some people will go along the top here where they have the sight channel, and I don't see a need for that. I don't need to form that sight channel in. It's there. There's plenty of room for the front sight because I have that piece of leather on the top there. So I don't need to do any more than that, do I? I don't see any need for extra forming there. don't need to do much more than that. I have my ejection port right here. And I want to do just a little bit there, just for that little extra retention. But remember, we filled in a little bit of that, so it's not going to be a boatload of retention from that. So this is my first time doing this without the extra stiffener around the top here. And we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it will be rigid enough. And depending on what I get told about it, we may make another one and send it out with the extra rigidity around the top here. But I think this is going to be okay. We'll find out. I still have to sand and burnish around here. But as it sits right now, this holster can go over on the shelf and dry. So there you go, that's our Springfield Hellcat holster inside the waistband. Pretty simple holster, not much to it. And that's basically what I do for my inside the waistband holsters. They're pretty simple. Well, that's where the Hellcat holster is so far, inside the waistband. I was a little concerned that it wouldn't be stiff enough. So I actually started working on another one with the stiffener. I just went with a 6/7 ounce leather. So hopefully it's not too light, but I think I'm going to make it anyway. I'll send this out to get tested too, but the body is still the same. You know, the same 8 to 9 ounce that this is. This just seems like it was a lighter piece of leather, but that's okay. After the wet forming, it's fairly stiff. I mean, it's not super stiff. I did err on the side of caution, and I wrapped this in like a grocery bag when I put it in to form, just to give it a little extra space. And it pops right in there. I can't believe how nice that is. So I'm really excited to get this out and sent out to the guy who's going to test it. I know he's going to beat the crap out of it. He's told me he's going to. So I'm excited to get this out to him. I'm not left-handed, so I'm far from left-handed, but I think this is going to be a great holster for him. I'm really, really pleased with how it came out. I just need to finish up the burnishing and put some Resin on it, put a nice finish coat on it. Not that I need it really. I mean, it looks plenty fine, but the finish coat will just help keep some of the black from rubbing off. So I'm going to get this one done, get the other one done. But right now, I need to do a nice final burnish all the way around here. I did just a really quick burnish around this part, so I need to go around and do a nice sand on it. Now, I know I've said in the past that when you sand, you can tell everything about your burnish job. Now, remember I said I did a really quick burnish on this because it was really too wet to do anything with. So I just did a really quick burnish. And the way you tell your burnish job when you sand it is you'll get high and low spots. And those high and low spots, and this is showing it beautifully right now. Usually I can't get it to show them. And I can't see my viewfinder, so I'm hoping that it's picking it up. But you see the shiny spots and the dull spots? The light spots? The lighter spots where I've sanded already? You can see those. And the shiny dark spots in there are the low spots. And the high spots I've already sanded. So what we need to do is get them all to be the dull, light, shiny spots. And that is how you know when you're going to have everything's going to be nice and smooth. Sometimes it'll trick you and you gotta just kind of get through it, and you gotta do it a few times before you'll actually get to the point where it's not going to show that anymore. But you know, and as you go, the more and more you take the time, you know, like I said, it was really quick because it was wet. I forgot to do anything with it, so I just kind of did a really quick job. It was wet, so I put on some dye real quick and burnished it with my wood slicker, and that's all I used on it. So now I'm just kind of, this is my first sanding on it really. And a lot of times I'll use, you know, this is a worn out piece of 220, so a well worn, I shouldn't say worn out.